Hello, I'm James,
Hi, I'm Jimmy,
and welcome to A Job Done Well.
the podcast that helps you improve your performance and enjoyment at work. Good afternoon, James.
Good afternoon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. I have finished my Christmas shopping today. I have
Well
bought
done, that man.
Mrs. Lauder her Christmas presents. I'm all sorted and ready to go.
Well, let's hope your Christmas presents work a little bit better than last year.
What did I get last year? I can't remember.
Well, last year you bought her a cooking
No, that worked quite well.
subscription. No, it worked well, but on the podcast you talked about her one strength in life. That I fancy that would work less well.
Well, I've bought her. She's now got two strengths, I've discovered. So I've bought her, and I can say this. Yeah, she's got two strengths. I bought her knowing that she's going to be delighted with it, and also knowing that there's no chance she's going to listen to this podcast. I bought her a hose pipe.
What?
Okay. And what are you going to do with your wife and the hose pipe, James?
Water the garden.
Dare we ask?
Water the garden.
Obviously.
Okay.
It's what every woman needs. She's a very lucky girl.
Oh.
It's not any old hose pipe. It's an Amazon Best Buy. It's like one of those retractable ones on a spring, self-winding up. It's, I'm a very generous man.
Like you say, James, as you believe, she is a lucky woman.
Exactly.
At least one person in the world believes that, so well done. And obviously, for those who are listening carefully, we have been joined by Amanda. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Hi, nice to see you both.
I bet you're not getting a hose pipe for Christmas, are you?
I really sincerely hope not, James, to be honest.
There'll be trouble ahead if that's what you open on Christmas Day, I'm quite confident.
I nearly bought a shopping trolley.
One of those basket things.
No, not one of those old granny ones.
You get one, because I've got one of those ones which goes up steps. They've got fancy three wheels. It's very technical. I was quite taken by that. But I decided
who are you really shopping for?
God. I'm so glad, James, we don't do Christmas presents, mate. Jesus Christ. Anyhow, Amanda, welcome, our resident learning and development guru who has joined our Christmas episode to help keep us in check and add value as ever.
Well, thank you.
We go through what we are entitling at the moment, the 12 Insights of Christmas.
You'd promised me that you weren't going to sing.
Yes, that was the prerequisite for you coming on to the podcast. No singing, but we have got 12 insights to share with the audience that we think are useful in life at this time of year and into 2025 as well, hopefully.
Very good.
We don't really need to talk what we've been up to because it's all about Christmas shopping, and James is like he's entertained and engaged us.
Well, the thing is,
none of us can follow that.
The thing is, anything that you buy your partners after I've said that, you're just going to look tight, aren't you?
Or imaginative, creative, innovative, thoughtful.
There's a very, very well known Facebook group called isn't it Dull Old Men or something like that? I mean,
I'll have to look it up.
Honestly, how you're not a founding member of that, you should check it out, James. It is right up your street. Anyhow, shall we start with our 12 Insights of Christmas?
Go on then.
We're not going to sing on the first day of Christmas. My true love gave to me one clear purpose.
Whoa, everyone needs one of those. No, seriously.
Something that everyone should have for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
A clear purpose to give you focus and meaning to your work.
It is true. I mean, you've talked throughout the podcast. I feel like that's been a theme that both of you have focused on, or lots of the problems that you are helping people to wrestle with come back to actually just how clear are you and align, and how well have you communicated what it is your business is trying to do. So,
yeah, but it doesn't need to be any old purpose.
Okay.
Right? Most organisations just focused on money, and it's a bit like Christmas presents. You need to give some people something that they want.
Like a hose pipe.
Hose pipe. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, pile of money doesn't do it. So something your customers want.
Something they really want. Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if you can edit that so it sounds good.
We've done 51 episodes sounding vaguely coherent and intelligent.
Yeah, and this is where it slips apart. Right then. So on the second day of Christmas, then what's your insight for the second day?
On the second day of Christmas, you've got two hopes of being successful if you rely on performance management and targets.
And those two hopes are?
None and Bob.
Oh. You're presupposing that people who listen to this know who Bob Hope is.
I know, and that's the thing. That probably doesn't work because anyone under the age of 52, won't know who Bob Hope was.
Well, there you go.
But essentially, I think what you're trying to communicate is no hope, right?
No hope, absolutely. And James can do his 28-second rant about performance management.
No, my lips are sealed.
But yes, if you're going into 2025 thinking that those two things will help you be successful,
you are wrong. Bob Hope coming to see you. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, then what have we got for number 3?
Number 3, we've got 3 bits of advice for the Christmas period and work.
Go on then. So give us the first one.
First one. Don't shit on your own doorstep.
That's nice, that is. That's classy. What exactly do you mean
there's
by
lots
that?
of temptation this time of year with lots of alcohol and lots of other things going on around the place to misbehave over this festive period. And you have to remember the people you embarrass yourself in front of, you will be working with on the 5th of January or something, and you will regret your Christmas behaviour if you're not careful.
All right. Number 1. Very good.
The second.
Number 2.
If you are the boss at the Christmas do, please leave early. Get around, talk to everyone whilst they're still sober.
Yeah, leave your wallet behind the bar.
Get out early before someone embarrasses themselves. Even if it isn't you, someone else will be shitting on their own doorstep by talking badly to you, and they will be embarrassed. Save them that embarrassment. Get out early.
Okay. Can I go for number 3 then? Because I think
because it's your pet favourite thing, and we disagree with you. But go on.
Whatever else you do for Christmas, do not have a fuddle.
You're the fuddle Grinch.
It's a culinary disaster. You should not be having a fuddle. There is only so many pork pies and sausage rolls and crisps you can eat in one go, and a fuddle is not the way forward. So no fuddle.
Can I just explain 2 things here? Right, first off, I think we should explain what a fuddle is, because coming from down south, I had not heard of a fuddle till I moved up north. It is not something that people either down south or our global listeners will even have a clue.
Well, there's no point in explaining to them because they're getting away with it. Yeah, no fuddle.
Well, they are obviously dodging a bullet, according to you. But a fuddle is where every person in the team brings a little bit of food together, and you have effectively a buffet that the team has prepared, and you will often have, as James says, things like pork pies and crisps and sandwiches. And my personal favourite is the foil hedgehog with cocktail sticks with cheese and pineapple.
You might be showing your age.
I don't know. I still think that is retro. It's retro.
Yeah,
what's your view? What's your view, Amanda? Huddles, yes or no?
I'm with you.
It's not a huddle. It's a fuddle.
That's a fuddle. It's a fuddle.
Sorry, huddles were a yes.
Different.
Fuddles were a no. Amazing what one letter can make to a meaning of a sentence.
I'm okay with fuddles. I think, James, you probably haven't been to ones that have been incredibly well managed. The best version, I think, is it's a great idea to bring a team together. Everyone contributes something. Avoid the mistake of, multiple bowls of crisps by just getting everyone to fill out a beautiful checklist beforehand to say what they're going to bring and what they're not going to bring. And of course, remember to be inclusive. So make sure there's some vegan options, etc.
Yeah,
everyone's part of
vegan sausage rolls. You're really selling it to me.
Have you seen that advert? I can't remember if it's Iceland or one of those shops, and it says we cater for all your eventualities at Christmas. We've got this, and that. And if vegans turn up, we've got this as well. It's like how to make people. And that's an advert on TV.
I'm not seeing
anyhow. James, if he coloured his skin green, he would be the Grinch.
The Grinch, he would. Cater for everyone. Yeah, be thoughtful.
On to number 4. Number 4, James.
Number 4. 4 quarterly budget cycles. I'm speechless.
And what do we think of budgeting?
Well, it's just pointless because it invariably gets linked to the T word, targets. And
Yes.
we used to work for an organisation where they used to have, I remember it vividly, around this time of year, quarter five. And what quarter five was everybody running around like mad headless chickens, trying to get the volumes up for the end of the year so that they hit their targets. Which meant, of course, that come January, they were absolutely screwed all over.
I always did feel a bit of a way at a supposedly highly analytical company thinking there were 5 quarters in a whole. I was.
It wasn't just them though. I was talking to somebody the other day, and who, interestingly, there you go, who had read my book. So there's another 4 days left before you can buy my book, and on Amazon, and
it delivered free before Christmas.
Absolutely, nice little book.
That is a stocking filler that everyone wants.
I bought Mrs. Law the one to go with the hose pipe.
Did you sign it?
I should have done, really, shouldn't I? They used to have quarterly targets, and it was a computer manufacturer. And he said what they had, all these sane blokes, what they were doing was they were, every end of the quarter, they basically bang computers into boxes, send them to their customers on the express understanding that they'd then be able to invoice the customer, and the customer would send them back as returns, and then they'd take them off the books later on. So you've got all these same people just shipping computers around the country. It's just nuts. So there you go. Quarterly targets. Pointless.
Quarterly targets, and also quarterly budgeting cycles and targets often drive short-term thinking, and that doesn't always work out well for companies.
Well, by definition, talk about analytical, short-term thinking, no more than 3 months. Do you see what I did there?
Well, there you go.
I'm brilliant.
Anyhow.
We're moving on to number 5.
Don't think we're completely financially naive, though, because managing the finances of any company is absolutely vital. It is the suboptimal way quarterly budgeting cycles are applied in a lot of organisations.
Actually, just sticking with that, did you know Warren Buffett, who is one of the richest men in the world, he doesn't have a budget in his organisation?
Really?
Yeah, because he said it just drives a load of stupid behaviour.
There you go. It's good enough for Warren.
It's good enough for me. Right. Number 5.
5.
Yes.
5. On average, we will all consume 5,000 calories on Christmas Day.
Oh, my goodness. You are kidding me. Really?
Oh, yeah. 5,000 calories.
That probably explains a lot.
What is the learning point there?
The insight here is Christmas can be a time of excess. It can be a time where families get together and there can be lots of stress. There's the stress of buying presents. There's the stress of families, or, stress of not being able to go out. There's all sorts of stress. And I think, the learning point from this is just give yourself a bit of time. Be thoughtful about yourself. Be kind to yourself over Christmas, because it can be a very stressful period.
Lay off the quality streets.
Perhaps.
I've got another one for 5, actually. I was thinking about it.
Go on.
5 explorations. For those who have listened to our podcast, don't look so blank. You were there. Those are the 5 explorations of whole intelligence. Dawn Ray, remember that?
Dawn Ray.
Yeah. So there's something to go back and listen to.
On the 6th day of Christmas, not my true love.
Yeah.
James's true love gave to him 6 Sigma.
Yeah, I don't know why we chose this one, right? I think I've been shortchanged here. So 6 Sigma. I am, for my sins, a 6 Sigma black belt. I can tell you that knocks them dead when I tell them that when I'm in the pub. But 6 Sigma. The thing about 6 Sigma is everybody says it doesn't work. But it's not just 6 Sigma everybody says it doesn't work. They'll talk about lean and they'll say, it doesn't work here. And then systems thinking and agile, and ultimately they'll say it doesn't work here. So you've got all these programs and activities and tools and things which are going on. So I've got 2 words of wisdom on these programs that do all that. Right, so the first one is, pick your tool. So these things do work, but only if you apply them to the right type of problem. So know what your problem is and use the right approach to it. It's a bit like me telling you a hammer doesn't work, right? These things, they do work, but just don't roll them out indiscriminately. And the second one is, here's a thought for you. If it doesn't work in your organization, and none of these things have worked in your organization, but they have worked in other people's organizations, you've got to ask yourself, what is it that doesn't work? The tool or the organization? Anyway, there you go. There's my deep thought for you about 6 Sigma.
Amanda, can you just note the professionalism that I am showing when James talks about his tool and picking his tool, and if your tool doesn't work?
You've resisted, except you haven't really, have you?
Yeah, I haven't at all.
I couldn't help it. But yeah, good advice, James. Pick your tool.
Pick your tool.
The right
7.
tool for the job.
The right tool for the exactly.
Job. And actually, the reality is the principles behind all of the things that you talked about make sense. And, you know, the desire for all of these things to improve how you work and how you run your business is a sensible principle.
Right then, on that preachy point, number 7.
7 habits of highly effective people.
Yeah, can you remember them?
Jimmy and I are big fans of this.
Big fans.
Go on then, Amanda. Give us the 7 habits.
A little bit like the 5 government missions. Can we name the 7 habits?
I think we probably can between us, can we? So be proactive.
Yeah.
Begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Putting things first. Do I need to remind you what these are all about?
One in. No, okay. You're all right.
Is there sharpening your saw, or am I making
habit
out?
7.
Which I'd like to point out is a type of tool.
Yes, it is. And it's also about keeping in balance all the facets of your life: spiritual, emotional, health, environmental. Yes. What do we got? Any others you can think of?
No.
How many did we get? 5. I think if I could apply 5 habits of highly effective people, that makes me pretty good.
It also explains a lot about you. Think win-win. We haven't got that. Think win-win.
No,
so this is how you find a solution that meets everyone's needs. Seek first to understand before you're being understood. So that's about listening actively and communicating, understanding someone's point of view. And then one of my favourites, which is synergize. That's about working.
That's American. Together. That's American, James. If you want to offend our American audience at this time.
Joking apart, though, I'm a massive fan of 7 Habits. It's just such brilliant language if you introduce it to your organisation about, you know, helping everyone to kind of understand that connection between them and the power of their collective contribution. And it works really well in your personal life too. So maybe start at the beginning of the year. Maybe we should do a New Year podcast, but exploring the 7 habits and setting some goals. Oh no, not goals. You don't like your targets, do you?
But that's a great episode for 2025.
I've got a bit more on habits. I had a little think about habits. You are your habits. There's a thought for you. So you are your collection of habits. But what does that mean if for an organisation? And this is why I think continuous improvement is. This is deep. I'm good, right? This is why I think continuous improvement is so good, because if an organisation is constantly getting better and it's in its habits to do that, then an organisation will improve. Whereas just rolling out a big project and thinking that's going to work, that's not a habit. So you are your habits. There you go. What do you think of that?
Good one. Well, whilst we're bollocking on about habits, another good book to read is Atomic Habits by James Clear. That is another fantastic book. One of the bits of advice from that book, which actually works incredibly well, is if you want to build a habit, attach it to a habit you've already got. Now, I know this is a silly one, but I had to stretch my ankle after an injury every evening, and I could never remember to do it before bed. So what I did is every time I brushed my teeth, I stretched my ankle. And actually, it worked brilliantly. And I'd never forget to stretch my ankle because I'd attached it to the habit that I already had, which was brushing my teeth every night before I go to bed. So it's called habit stacking, apparently. The show you're listening to right now brings you insights to help you improve performance and enjoyment of work.
It takes a long time to produce, but we think it's well worth it. It's all in the name of helping you getting the job done well.
All we ask in return is that you share the link to this show with someone that you think would benefit from it. And if you haven't already, click on follow the show wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. Anyway, let's get back to the show. 8 is the 8 ball in pool. And it's a saying, which again is probably a bit American, but behind the 8 ball means that you're under bit of pressure, under stress in the firing line. So, Amanda, what's your solution? What do you do when you're behind the 8 ball?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving a label to that and a term. Wow, what do I tend to do? It kind of depends. But one of the things that I really helps me, and is advice I'd share with anyone, is go outside. So if you possibly can, you're feeling under pressure, and this works at home and it works at work, especially if you can, pause, take a step back, ideally get outside, even better if you can be in nature and look at trees and what have you, but just kind of connect to something else first. And then what that helps me to do is to find kind of a new set of eyes to put to the problem or whatever it was that was creating that kind of pressurized environment. It's about deliberately and intentionally taking that pause, taking a step back, and if you can, get outside and focus on something else for a bit. Works every time.
Say that, and we can link that back to a previous episode. Rachel Edmondson Clark did an episode on emotions and moods, and she was all about taking yourself outside. So very good. Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do when I'm behind the 8 ball?
Go on.
Tell us.
I jump the shark.
You do what?
James found this saying when we did an episode, which you can also go back and listen to, about corporate jargon. James found the saying, jump the shark. And actually, James, I've heard it a few times since, in fairness.
I have never heard it. Do I need to go back and listen, or are you going to help me translate that?
Jumping the shark is when you do something just because you can do it. All right, so you did ask, was the Fonz. Do you remember the Fonz? It was apparently Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz, was a very good water skier.
Right.
And so, because he could water ski, they had this whole episode where he took a bet and he jumped a shark on his water skis.
Oh, okay.
Which got nothing to do with Happy Days or Henry Winkler or the Fonz or anything. They just did it because they could. So there you go. Jumping the shark is doing something because you can, not because you should.
Okay.
And just to round up on 8, my one solution that I'll share is, and I share this often with my kids, if you're behind the 8 ball and you're feeling stressed, some deep breaths. Amazing. Every day we breathe, but we are not really unleashing the power of controlling your breath and managing your breathing, because we do it subconsciously, right? But if you take 3 really deep breaths, hold them, let them out, 3 in a row, it immediately starts to lower the body's stress levels. So that's my one for behind the 8 ball.
So is that why you say to me, would you just stop breathing?
No, that's a whole different reason, James. Number 9, and another new fact for us, on the 9th day of Christmas, 9 is the Norse symbol for completeness.
I've got a question. Why is the 9 the Norse symbol for completeness?
James,
you don't know, do you?
No,
you don't know.
Because it is.
Yeah,
because it is. Right? Funnily enough, I think the fact that I know that 9 is Norse symbol for completeness is enough, right? But you, being the analyst, you want a bit more. I have no idea. My knowledge about Norse mythology and symbolism stops at that point.
It's a bit like that quote, isn't it? Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Winston Churchill.
Anyhow, the point with this is, I bet loads of people are sitting there now hatching their 2025 pet projects. We're all going to be kicking off a load of new stuff in 2025 when we haven't completed what we do in 2024. And lots of the organizations that we have worked with over the years just always complain there is too much going on. And one of the key reasons why there's too much going on is because you haven't finished what you started. So if you just complete projects, even if that means you're just going to stop them and kill them dead, doesn't matter, just finish what you started. Right, 10. Take 10 at this time of the year to think about people a little bit less fortunate than yourself, because there are lots of people who are struggling this time of year, struggling with the cold, struggling for money, struggling with loneliness. Just take 10 and try and do some, give a little back, whatever that will be. Spread a little Christmas cheer with someone less fortunate than yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Often organizations create opportunities for that, which is super helpful then, but the things like the Christmas trees with the gifts on for the kids, or maybe go and visit, some of the senior folk when they're having their kind of Christmas lunch and serve Christmas lunch, or it's great when
and there's a couple of apps that you can go on where people can make requests of things that they're short of, clothes, food, stuff like that. and you can donate via those as well. Local food banks are always striking this time of year, so take 10.
Lots of opportunities. I love that one.
Well done. Good idea.
11. On the 11th day of Christmas, it's 11 team members. In a lot of sports teams, there are 11 team members. So our wisdom for 11 is think about your team, think about collaboration in 2025. Amanda, you are the queen of collaboration.
Bless you for saying that. And yeah, I feel deeply passionate about this. Is how do you bring teams together and help them and support them to work together brilliantly to create something better than they would on their own. And, sometimes it happens as a happy accident, but I think it's smart advice to be able to be intentional about supporting your teams to be able to collaborate well. Often that's about how do you have great conversations together? How do you create a mutual plan and shared understanding of the work you're going after? And actually, when it gets a bit tough, if conflict shows up, how do you work through the conflict rather than have that fester and brew? So I'm a massive fan of, yes, working collaboratively and teamwork, but actually also advising leaders and anyone who is responsible for a team to think about how you support your team to really develop that muscle. It pays dividends. It really does.
Well, I'm a bit, I'm not sure if cynical is the word, but I go a little bit further on this one. I think an awful lot of what we do in businesses actually stymies collaboration. So you've got departmental targets, you've got individual targets, you've got the
structures.
Let's screw the supplier. And a lot of what we do in business really just stops collaboration. So my challenge would be actually think about what you're doing, which stops collaboration, and stop doing that, because as you say, it's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And if James, who doesn't particularly like other people, whoever they are, is a big fan of collaboration.
It's not I don't like other people, it's they don't like me.
So the final one, 12th day of Christmas, the 12 from us is 12 Angry Men.
Okay, so why are we talking 12 Angry Men? Were we scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one?
We were not scraping the bottom of any barrel. This is cultural, James, cultural references. 12 Angry Men is a very famous film starring Henry Fonda. It won lots of Oscars, and it will be on, it's a black and white film. It will be on TV at some point over the Christmas period.
It's a classic Christmas film.
Classic.
Well, it's not about Christmas, but have a look at it. It's an amazing film, and effectively, Henry Fonda plays a juror, and they are all going to convict this guy, and Henry Fonda is the one who says he's not guilty, and the whole film's about how he challenges the thinking of the groupthink of everyone and influences them all to change their mind. And I won't spoil the film, but it is well worth watching, and it just supports the dangers of groupthink and a lack of diversity and thinking in diverse ways.
Well, I had to look this up because I knew we were going to talk about diversity. And did you know, I've got interesting facts for you. You know that, well, this is a genetics one because I like a good genetics fact, but Watson and Crick, the people who discovered DNA, one of them was an American zoologist, and the other one was a British physicist. So there you go. Diverse thinking, big scientific breakthrough. We'll start with that. I'm going to raise it. Here's another one. Companies with female board members outperform companies that only have male board members. So there you go. Diversity of thinking.
That is not a shock, let's be honest. And that concludes our 12 insights for Christmas.
With no singing, as promised.
As promised. Well, you have heard me and James sing, so the request for no singing is a very sensible one. Any final well wishes, Amanda, to conclude this year?
Well,
and this podcast.
I mean, this has been really great fun working with you on this and listening to you and to your guests. So thank you for all the wisdom.
And James as well.
Oh, yeah, I was talking to you, Jimmy.
I couldn't resist that.
No,
sorry.
Listening to you both.
It was the plural you. Yeah.
And some wisdom. Yes, it was. And some wisdom in there too. So thank you for that opportunity. I'm really looking forward to hear what you've got to offer in 2025.
And be a part of it, no doubt.
Well, thank you. If you'll have me, I'd love to.
James, anything for you?
Yeah, I will see you in the new year. I will be the man hanging from one of the trees in the centre of Nottingham by his neck with a hosepipe. Happy Christmas.
There you go. Well, if you will buy your wife a hose pipe, that's probably all you deserve, James.
You've still got time to correct it.
Send it back.
Yeah. The shops have not shut yet.
There's still time. Can we help you in
There are alternative strategies that we would recommend at this stage in the game.
Yes, 100%.
And finally, then, hopefully you found this episode a little bit of light listening for Christmas. And thank you to everyone for listening to the podcast through the year, and everyone who's supported, contributed, liked, shared, followed, etc. And we hope you and your families have a healthy and happy festive period. And we'll see you all back in the new year with another podcast back on the 7th of January.
Have a good Christmas.
Have a great one, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Cheers now.
We cover a whole host of topics on this podcast,
From purpose to corporate jargon.
but always focused on one thing: getting the job done well.
Easier said than done. So if you've got unhappy customers or employees, bosses or regulators breathing down your neck,
If your backlogs are out of control and your costs are spiralling, and that big IT transformation project that you've been promised just keeps failing to deliver,
we can help. If you need to improve your performance, your team's performance, or your organisation's, get in touch at jimmy@ajobdonewell.com
or James@jobdonewell.com.